From seed to plant to pollination, it's the budding artist.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Budding Artist Podcast. My name is Sarah and it's been a minute. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to film this episode today because I was already starting to feel the weight of it all, wondering if I could be consistent, if I was gonna get burnt out again. Did I even have anything to talk about in the first place? Should I be applying to those job postings that my mom has been sending me from her vacation in Europe? Just a lot of thoughts that have been clouding my mind and judgment, making me feel really dejected and actually guilty for doing things that I enjoy and could be considered frivolous instead of living a more practical life. It's pretty heavy. Though living other people's expectations leads to nothing but self-loathing and resentment. So it's probably better to do your own thing and make your own decisions and have no one else to blame but yourself. That I could live with. All that to say, I was about to lay down and watch Abbott Elementary for the rest of the day, but then I remembered all the stuff that I've done this year and how it all came with this attitude of just go for it and see what happens. No judgment, just pure curiosity and having fun. So that's kind of what I'm doing in front of this camera right now. I think it's working. Well, I'm just gonna keep going and see what happens. Truth be told, that's probably going to be the theme of this entire episode, and also the explanation behind this 6-month break. Halloween time. Sarah Study Shorts. 2 Cars One Night. It was such a good episode. The first episode of that series, and then I just kind of disappeared. Full transparency, I did have episodes that I could have edited and episodes that I wanted to film, but that just didn't pan out, and then I just didn't want to do it anymore. I just took a break, and instead of forcing myself to film new episodes, I listened to my gut and redirected my creative flow to other parts of my life and projects. And now that flow is pushing me back towards this moment, yapping into this microphone. But the in-between is kind of what I want to talk about today, because in the spirit of just go for it and see what happens, I feel that a lot happened between the Sarah Study Short episode to this episode today, and I would love to share it. So going back all the way to November, I was taking private lessons with my mentor. We were studying Shakespeare, Edmund, King Lear. It was so much fun. I actually love Edmund, but that's besides the point. She actually asked what was my goal for acting, because I wasn't actively looking for an agent or doing any auditions or taking group classes, and I didn't really have an answer at that point, which I guess is kind of alarming. But she offered up the idea of auditioning for a play or a conservatory or going to group classes again so that I could take what I was learning from the private lessons and apply it. What an amazing, amazing teacher she is. I had to think about it. So it was great because my sister and her boyfriend were coming to visit for Thanksgiving. I got to pick their brains a little bit. I know at the end of the day, it is my decision of what I wanted to do, but it's kind of nice to hear from an outside perspective on everything. My sister, she is a collector of degrees. It's in English and creative writing, and I've always admired her so much for all of that. Honestly, I should do an episode about her because she is an incredible writer. I've read so many of her works and I've loved every single one of them. So I'm going to take note of that. I gotta do it. I really do. She was the one who inspired the idea of getting a higher education in acting because it would give me more opportunities, even teaching, also networking, and just being surrounded by really serious actors, also being a part of a bunch of plays and really applying the things that I learned, and even auditioning. The whole process of choosing a piece and breaking it apart, rehearsing and doing all of that stuff. All in all, it seemed like a really good idea to me until I did my own research and saw the tuition prices, which was so insane. I mean, I knew how expensive it would be. I think I just never thought about it super seriously, but now that I was, and I usually take very calculated risks, I was doing my little calculations, it came out to not possible for me at this moment in time. But then it was really nice because my sister actually helped me find the USC MFA program for acting, which was tuition free. So this kind of goes against my calculated risk statement before. I just decided to put all my eggs into that basket, which is probably not how you should do it. I do believe that people audition for multiple schools so that they could have a better chance of getting into a program, but I don't know. I just wanted to go for it. That's all I can say about that. And I actually ran it by my mentor, and she said it was a great idea. So I found my pieces, wrote my personal statement, applied, and then rehearsed every single day after work. It was intense, every break, every weekend. Man, it was crazy, but I really enjoyed it at the same time. I thought it was really fun. But I also did something else in November. I actually created my website, which was really great. And I think it was nice to kind of see what I've accomplished so far, because I feel like I'm always go, looking for other opportunities. So it was nice to just sit down and recognize how far I've come and be proud of myself. I highly recommend that exercise once in a while. I believe I released my website December 2nd. I'll have it linked in my bio or description or wherever if you want to check it out. Just got to do a little plug. All right, where are we in the timeline? So it's December. I think December I was really just trying to rehearse as much as I possibly could and spend time with family and friends, relax, all of that stuff, and work at the same time. The work never stops. And then January comes around and all of the practice and rehearsal boils down to this single moment. I believe it was like January 18th or 19th. I can't really remember the exact date, but I remember that day. It was really nerve-wracking. I'm not even sure if I should tell that whole story because I didn't even get in. Spoiler alert. Yeah. I just felt like it was such a quick turnaround. I don't even know what happened. I wish I just took a beat because it was such a unique experience for me. I don't know. It was really great. I was really scared. I was so anxious. I was shaking in my seat. But at the same time, after that moment, I felt invincible. Like I could do so many things. I wanted to do more scary things. So if I didn't take anything from that, but that feeling, I wish I could bottle it and just take it with me forever. But yeah, I didn't feel discouraged or disheartened. I felt alive. So yeah, I mean, it was great. So I started doing more webinars for filmmaking, screenwriting, all of that. It was interesting because I remember one of the webinars I was doing, I believe it was for short filmmaking and funding, something along those lines. This happens a lot in webinars where one person will create a Google sheet. You can put all your information on there and it's kind of like a networking opportunity. And usually, honestly, nothing really comes from those. But this time, I remember getting an email a few hours after the webinar. This sweet girl was like, I don't really do this usually, but I felt really drawn to your name. So I went on your website, saw that you had this project, and I would love to talk to you more about it. So we had some emails back and forth, finally had a Zoom meeting, and we talked about our backgrounds, the story for you, which was really fun. Honestly, nothing really came out of that either, but it was a really fun chat. But I did have this thought afterwards. It was, I can't wait for others to make my dreams come true. With that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep going. And I signed up for a 30-day writing challenge and for March. I continued to look for other opportunities. Opportunity came knocking once again. Hillman Grad opened up auditions for their mentorship lab, and I actually auditioned for the acting one way back when, but then they skipped a year. They reopened it for 2025. I believe. So I was like, okay, let's just see what happens. What was different about this audition process was that you could send in 2 contrasting tone monologues or a scene and a monologue or 2 scenes. I haven't really done that for these types of programs before, so I was like, okay, I want to do 1 monologue and 1 scene. And I'm so glad I made that decision, because doing the scene for that audition was so much fun. I have a designated audition person who is my cousin. I trust her with my life. I have so much fun with her doing these audition tapes. So I went over to her place and we actually set up the scene as if it was going to be filmed for a short or a movie. It was such a fun experience, because then I had the idea of actually shooting a scene or a film. I was very inspired in that moment, just making that one decision. I thought I should text Jasmine, who was on the podcast before, and I was like, hey, like, we should shoot a scene together or even a short. And she was like, yes, I'm so down for that. So many decisions leading to other things that I wasn't expecting. So anyways, what else? I think we're basically in February now. And in February, I found out that I didn't get into the USC program, turned in my Hillman grad application, and then I started writing because of this newfound energy of, I want to write something and I want to film it and I want to see if what I can accomplish with all of that. So I wrote Let's Party. I wrote that in like a weekend because I don't know, it just all came to me at once. It was 1 location, 2 characters, very dialogue heavy. I think that I could film it. So I was like in production mode. I'm gonna redecorate my room so we could just film it in my room. My parents are gonna be gone in April, so it would be a great time to film. So I started doing the shot list, doing all that stuff, which was really fun and very time consuming. I always forget how time-consuming shot lists could be, because I was starting to do that for You, but I was thinking that For You was going to be kind of harder for me to film, so I just moved on from that. Anyways, I'm losing the plot. Yes, I wrote it. I really love Let's Party. I had a lot of fun writing it. I sent it to Jasmine, I sent it to my cousin, I sent it to my friends, and I was like, hey, can you guys read this and send me your thoughts afterwards? And everybody loved it too. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this into some competitions and see what's up. March came around, which was supposed to be when I was doing the 30-day writing challenge. I did not do that. I got very distracted with all these other projects that I wanted to be doing. I totally dropped the ball on that one. But then I was scrolling through Instagram at this time. I believe this was early March. I saw Music Bed was doing a 30-day challenge where you could do a narrative short film, a short documentary, or an ad spec. I was like, I really want to film a short, and this would give me a great end date. I signed up for it, but then I got really busy with work. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I got super busy with work and I completely forgot about it for a couple weeks. And I remember sitting in a coffee shop just journaling because there's just so much going on in my personal and my work life that I just needed a break. And I remember getting a text from Jasmine again. Jasmine is like my creative muse or something because so many of my ideas and so many of my projects come from our friendship, which I think is really awesome. And she was talking about a project that she was a part of. The director connected to that project, the director/writer was also doing a lot of their own films. One of their films was on Vimeo, so then she sent it to me to watch, and it was so good. I just remember being so re-inspired again. It was such an electric shock for me that I had to start writing again. So, and then I somehow, I think that I was getting email reminders about the music bed challenge. And I was just like, oh my gosh, okay, I need to do this then. I really have to do this. So I sat there, I wrote a script, these images and thoughts and all this stuff was happening. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a story that I could actually feasibly do on my own. I don't know how it happened. It was just a lightning in a bottle moment or something. It was great, and that's how I got my idea for Almost Love. And I really want to do a podcast episode about that. And Jasmine, again, asked me if she could help me with that episode. So look forward to that soon. Yeah, I just went for it, basically. I filmed every single day after work for the next 2 weeks after writing it and buying all the stuff that I needed. I did an all-nighter to edit it in time. I remember also trying to choose the music for Almost Love. Oh my gosh, that was so hard. I'm so very proud of it though, and I turned it in on time. I remember I stayed up until 4 a.m. trying to get it done. I turned it in. I was like, ah, my gosh, I feel so accomplished. Then I sent it to my friends and showed them. They loved it too. And I thought it wasn't that good at first, but then hearing my friends' comments about it, it was a good moment. Oh my gosh, why am I getting emotional about that? Oh my. So I posted on my Instagram about it. I made a movie poster for it, and it was just so much fun. And I remember, wow, I am getting so emotional right now. That's so crazy. I remember talking about it with Ash and her being like, and telling her, what the frick? I was talking to Ash about it. Relax, it's fine. And I told her, this is what I want to do. My gosh, why am I crying about this? This is a happy thing. This is a happy thought. And I think that's what I'm moving towards this year is, oh my goodness, I need to pull myself together. Holy cannolis. That is my goal, to do more films, to write more, do my podcast and expand my podcast more, and all of that. I want to do the budding artists with my buds again. And I think it's just also with everything going on in the world too. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to find hope and joy and without feeling this guilt. I'm really lucky that I could even think about doing any of this stuff. I'm just gonna try to do it and see what happens. Oh my gosh, I'm crying again. This is so embarrassing, man. One of my old friends from acting school reached out to me again and was also just like, I want to create too, so let's create together. And I thought that was super sweet. And we are going to create things together. We're going to make more films. We're going to tell more stories. And that is important. That is important. I have to believe that's important too. Thank you so much if you've listened this far. I've just been gabbing and yapping all this time. Hopefully that message was helpful to someone. Just go for it and see what happens, because you just really never know where it'll take you. It'll surprise you, because Almost Love surprised me in the greatest way possible. Anyways, before I start crying again, I will not make any promises on how consistent this podcast is going to be, but I'm going to be confident in saying that there will be more episodes in 2025. That is all I can promise at this point. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, laters. And I'm back. I'm actually in the middle of editing this episode, and I realized that I might have missed some facts because I got quite emotional at the end of all of that, / a lot of time has passed since then, so I want to do a quick update on that. First and foremost, Almost Love. I did end up turning it in on time for the music bed challenge. I don't think I was a finalist. I didn't receive any email confirmation about that, but I went on the website and I saw what the finalists were, and I watched those and they were really great. I still completely love Almost Love. And I've decided to submit it into some film festivals, which I'm my mind is blown about. We'll see if it even gets into any of these. I'm just excited at the prospects. I have applied to 2 so far. I think I'm gonna research a few more. The next thing is Hillman Grad. I didn't get into that, which is totally fine. For those of you that don't know what the Hillman Grad program is, I'll put some links in the description or wherever else. What else? Oh, the last thing, I decided that I want to make more short films this year. So I have a little challenge for myself, I guess, to create more, no matter how big or small these projects are, and apply things that I'm learning through textbooks and rabbit holes and all of that in the vein of Sarah Studies Shorts. So how do I explain it? The idea right now is to film those shorts and then have a podcast episode where I kind of explain my thought process, what I'm actually learning or trying to apply what I learned. So that's my thought process right now. I'm not sure how that's going to be. I'm afraid of balancing it with work, social life, family. I'm gonna try and see what happens. The whole theme of this episode, which I said that so many times. That was crazy. I should do like a little tally. I think I might do that. All this to say, there's going to be some really exciting things coming up, and I think I'm going to team up with a lot of my friends and other creatives. Hopefully we can create some really cool stuff together, make some really cool art. Until next time, goodbye.